Hi YouTube! So, ayun nga, gumawa ako ng channel ko for updating yung journey ko towards getting a VA post or a virtual assistant job. I'm calling this virtual assistant diaries because I want to compile my experiences at kung ano yung mga along the way, ano yung mga na-encounter ko sa pag-apply na gusto kong i-share din sa iba, sa mga beginners na nakatulad ko, para meron din silang idea kung ano yung mga pwede mangyari. So, naisip ko umpisahan sa current na nangyayari sa akin ngayon kasi nga nag apply pa lang ako. I recently resigned from my previous company and sa totoo lang, hindi ko ini-expect na ganito pala siya ka-challenging in terms of pag-apply sa virtual assistant industry. Now, meron ako ditong five experiences na na-encounter ko. I'll start with technical requirements. So, most ng companies na ina-applyan ko, dito talaga sila mahigpit sa technical requirements. Unang-una kasi, internet service provider dapat stable. And then hindi lang siya basta-basta stable. Kailangan ma-meet mo yung required Mbps na nire-require nila. Some nagre-require ng 25 Mbps. Yung iba naman, lower than that, nag-accept sila as low as 10 Mbps. And also, kadalasan prefer nila LAN connection or wired connection. Hate na hate nila yung mga USB sticks or kapag naka-Wi-Fi lang. And then, na-experience ko rin na mag-move into the technical requirement interview wherein ipapa-screenshot nila talaga, ipapa-test talaga nila sa'yo real time while you are on the video call with the recruiter, and then ipapa-screenshot talaga nila yung result ng speed test mo. So wala ka talagang kawala, gagawin mo talaga siya habang nandoon yung recruiter. And then another na experience ko nung nag-apply ako is computer specs. So kailangan talaga ng medyo sturdy or high functioning na computer kasi medyo malaki ang demand ng mga task. So, madalas sinasabi nila na maraming mga i-open na tab sa browser. So, kailangan pag nagpalipat-lipat ka ng browser, kailangan makakasabay yung speed ng computer mo. So, ganun sila ka higpit pagdating sa computer specs. Third is ito, yung backup power source, backup internet, at saka backup computer. Meron akong in-applyan na dito ako nagka-problema kasi um, wala pa akong backup power source. So, hindi nila tatanggapin na meron ka lang extrang battery. Ang gusto nila, meron ka talagang UPS, yung iba nga generators pa yung nire-require. And hindi ko pa afford yon dahil nasa application stage pa lang nga ako. So, I know na kailangan mo mag-invest, pero soon siguro, pero hindi pa siguro sa ngayon. What I normally offer sa mga nag-i-interview sa akin is I can have it submitted after the training or after the final interview, just for them to give me some time to prepare or to source out yung mga kailangan na backup. Ganun din sa backup internet. Nagkaroon ako ng problema. Bumagsak ako sa interview sa isa kong in-applyan dahil dito sa backup internet na to. Hindi ko makakalimutan yon kasi ang setup namin sa house is meron akong sariling converged internet dito sa bahay, pero on the kabilang house, sa kadikit lang ng bahay namin is yung kapatid ko, converged din siya. Pero yung linya ng internet niya is connected sa kabilang poste na nasa kabilang street. Yung sa akin, ganun din kasi hindi kami sabay nagkaroon ng internet. Ako lately na lang ako nagkabit ng sarili ko. Pero sa kabilang street yung sa akin nakalinya. Pero yun nga, pag nagda-down ng converge, hindi kami sabay. Ang problema kapag nationwide. So that's why naintindihan ko rin naman na kinakailangan talaga magkaiba yung backup power source, backup internet mo sa primary internet mo. So that time, nag-sale si Lazada sa for the PLDT Wi-Fi or PLDT fiber na may USB connection. So, bumili na ako nun para for the sake talaga na meron akong maipakita na meron akong backup internet. Backup computer, medyo nagkaproblema rin ako rito kasi yung primary computer ko is running on Intel i5 pero yung backup computer ko is Celeron lang. And what they want is i3 or higher, both backup at saka yung primary computer mo. So, yon. Kung meron kayong pang-invest, go ahead. Pero ako, siguro this time, I'm still looking for companies that are willing to give me some time. Like, may mga companies kasi na hindi ka may endorse sa client kapag hindi ka nakapag-comply. So, although i-endorse ka nila for training kahit wala ka pang backup. Pero at least they will give you some time to comply. And that's gonna be your gatekeeper. Yung kailangan mo ma-comply yung mga backup na mga rinire-require nila mga backups for you to be endorsed sa client. And then of course yung noise cancelling headset. Dito naman it's okay lang. Medyo yung headset ko nga lang is hindi siya totally noise cancelling. It's just a noise reduction. Medyo mahal kasi talaga yung mga noise cancelling na headset. It would range around 6,000 to 8,000 pa nga yung iba. So, yun. And then, so that's yung sa part ng technical requirements. Now, dito naman sa interview invites, medyo nagka-problema din ako dito sa interview invites kasi napaka-confusing. Sometimes, napaka-confusing nung mga sinesend nila na invitation. So, magpapadala sila sa email mo ng letter or ng reply na ini-invite ka for interview on this certain date and time. Kaso, ang problema doon is yung time zone. Kasi confusing minsan yung time zone. Kasi hindi mo maiintindihan or hindi ko naintindihan kung Manila time ba siya or saang time ba ng ng Amerika. Kasi meron sila mostly kasi nga night shift because American clients ang kinikater. So, minsan may sinasabi silang PST, meron silang sinasabi na Central Time, meron silang sinasabi na Mountain Time, um, tapos meron pa silang Pacific Time. Yan. So, yung apat na yan yung madalas kong naririnig. Pacific Standard Time, Central Time, Mountain Time, at saka Pacific Time. So, bigyan ko kayo ng example ha, yung na-receive kong letter. Ito kahapon lang kasi today is 14. So kahapon ng 13, April 13 na ano ko to, na receive. So dear applicant or hi applicant, you're confirmed for the following interview on April 15, which is tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. plus 08 with Carl. Tanggalin ko na muna yung name. Ayan, so baka medyo confidential siya. So video meeting daw siya. Ngayon, ang problema ko dito, 9:30 to 9:45 ng Manila, CST or CT or PST or MT or Pacific time. So, I'm yet to check what I'm gonna do with this invite. So, later on, if figure out ko pa, either mag-reply ako to confirm. Pero I'm also being cautious kasi baka mamaya um, scam pala siya. Kasi sa Facebook din nagtatry din kasi ako maghanap-hanap ng mga job opening sa Facebook and we really have to be very careful kasi ang dami talagang scam. Ayun, so going back to our challenges as a beginner, I have here the third one which is dedicated workspace. Sa dedicated workspace, they want to see talaga or they want to you to have talaga a separate room. May sinagot kasi ako dati sa interview ko na I was on the corner side of our living room. Sinabi ko na meron akong specific na portion ng living room namin na doon ako nakapwesto. So hindi na nila ako binalikan. So it appears na hindi nila binabay yung ganoong kind of working space. So yon, mas in-encourage nila na naka-separate ka talaga. Meron ka talagang dedicated na room. Para understandable naman, para nga naman hindi ka prone sa mga distractions. And then yung pang-apat na na-experience kong challenge as a beginner while applying as a virtual assistant is yung asking you to be in Skype on a specific time. Time lang ha, kwento ko lang. yung recruiter is nag-email sa akin, sabi niya sa akin, make sure that you are logged in Skype at around at exactly 7 o'clock AM para makapag-reserve ka ng slot mo for the interview. So, I was there 7 AM, tapos binigyan niya ako ng instruction. Kailangan ko daw i-add si ganitong tao na ito yung meeting ID niya sa Skype. Tapos si ganitong tao naman, siya naman yung mag-i-interview sa akin or something like that, magbibigay ng instructions. Ang ending, hanggang 9 o'clock lang ng umaga yung cut-off nila, hindi ako umabot. So, dun sa email nila kasi is, sinabi nila na 1 day process yung pag-hire nila or yung process nila ng pag-entertain ng mga or pag-i-interview and all. Pero ang ending, hindi pala ako umabot dun sa 9 o'clock na cut-off. So, anyone na hindi umabot dun sa cut-off, you have to go back again on their time or on the date that they will be telling you na available sila or kung alin man yung date na posibleng pumasok ka or may slot pa na pasok ka, parang ganon. So medyo magulo kasi yung ibang recruit ibang virtual staffing agencies naman na naa-applyan ko, very systematic sila. When they send you an email for an interview invite, it will already be indicated there what time you are required to appear on the video call or on the conference call. While this certain, ito lang talaga yung nag-iisang VA outsourcing company talaga na may ganong proseso na um, hindi ka umabot ng cut-off, hindi ka na may interview for that day. So, meron lang silang number of people na kaya nilang i-entertain for that day. So, sabi ko, during the survey, sabi ko, bakit hindi na lang ninyo i-arrange ahead of time bago nyo i-invite yung mga shortlisted nyo na applicants para mas systematic siya. Kaysa naman yung pupuyatin nyo and then sasabihan nyo pa na kailangan by this time naka-login kayo on the dot. Kasi kapag hindi kayo nakapag-send ng presence nyo or na sinasabi nyo na, naka-login na kayo, hindi na sila may entertain, tas may cut-off pa. Ayun, so hindi naman lahat ng companies ganon. So far naman magaganda yung experiences ko during my application. Ayun. And then, except for that one. And then another is intimidating interviewers. So, for some reason, I actually find Filipino HR interviewers more intimidating than those foreign employers, the direct employers. Kapag may mga na-applyan kasi ako na direct talaga, direct hiring sila and then ang makakausap mo during the entire interview process is the employer themselves. Napaka direct to the point nila. Tapos hindi sila napaka-welcoming nila. Hindi sila yung masisindak ka. It was just like a friendly conversation asking you how you performed during your previous employment, mga ganyan. Pero yung sa mga HR interviews na napagdaanan ko, may mga pangilan-ngilan doon talaga na um, yung facial expressions nila is it's not very encouraging. I'm not particularly sure it's that if that is part of their way of testing out how the applicants would react. But I think there are some really that are crossing beyond boundaries then. That's why nasabi ko na meron talagang intimidating interviewers. And the thing is, I haven't experienced those types of interviews with direct hiring employers or yung mga foreigners talaga. Mostly Filipino talaga din. Anyways, the last one is the background noises. I know that this is very uncontrollable sa part natin as applicant. Kaya lang, yun na nga, we also have to make sure na when we are doing or attending interviews, um, let's make sure that we are on a quiet place or on a secluded area kasi napapansin talaga nila yon. Um, kasi syempre sometimes you will be taking in calls, and we don't want our clients to get distracted by that. So I would understand kung bakit sila din mahigpit. And this has been a challenge for me as well kasi ang bahay namin ay nasa tapat lang ng kalsada. So imagine niyo yung mga motor, yung mga bata, yung mga aso, lahat yon, name it, nando doon. So yun lang naman mga ka-VAs. Kung meron po kayong mga ibang experiences na hindi ko pa na-experience, please feel free po to share para naman magkaroon tayo ng collaboration at ng maintindihan din ng mga newbies na kagaya ko kung ano ba yung kung normal pa ba to, or kung ano ba yung mga ginawa ninyo to overcome those challenges as well. So thank you so much po sa pakikinig, and I hope magkita-kita po tayo sa susunod kong video. See you next time, and please feel free to subscribe po. Thank you.